Okay, so mood boards, every designer has made them. Some like making them, some absolutely hate it. I was in that category not too long ago. But once I started to realize how valuable mood boards are, how it makes your life simpler, and how it actually helps you when you're working with clients, I never looked back. Mood boarding in my team now is one of the most exciting, challenging, and time consuming process because there is so much value in it. And today I'll be showing you the entire process we at Designer follow, and even I used to follow as a freelancer while making mood boards. From start with the fake brand brief to understanding what kind of images we need to collect from online resources, how to fix those images because a lot of images have watermark, a lot of them are blurred, how to upscale them, and then opening Figma or Illustrator, whatever tool we want to create those mood boards, how to exactly create them, what all to put in them, and how to present them. All of that covered in this video. Because mood board isn't just one of the things that you have to do in a branding project, it is the one that helps with the decision making of your clients. So let's just quickly get into it. Okay, so here we have our brand brief open. It is a bakery brand called Sora. Yes, it is a fake brand. It's not a real brand. She wanted to show you guys how you can actually take the brief and create mood boards with it. When you start working with a client, obviously get a brief from them. Either send them a questionnaire or tell them to give me a brief about your brand. Whatever they give you, this is what you're going to take to create your mood boards. Let's have a look at the brand brief. Okay, so brand brief, Sora is a modern bakery rooted in calm, craft, and everyday indulgence. The name Sora Sky reflects lightness in both products and the overall experience. You have to keep that in mind. Focuses on artisanal baked goods like sourdough breads, flaky pastries, soft desserts, high quality ingredients. It's not loud or overly playful. Instead, it feels quiet, minimal, and intentional. That's very important. And the visuals that the Sora client wants is soft, airy, and light, warm but not really heavy, premium yet approachable, minimal with a subtle detail. So think of early morning light, neutral tones, textures, slow living. Okay, I got the vibe. In fact, after reading this, I also can imagine a few bakery brands here in Bombay, but I understood this is the vibe they want to go with. And we're going to take this and I'm going to be showing you the images which I have gathered from the online resources. Okay, so this is what we have. I've created a folder and here are all the images that I've collected. I'm going to take you through them. On the left here, we have a lot of images. Like, look at this. I really like how playful the font is. I really like how warm it looks. We want that warmthness to come. Like this cookie, I can feel this cookie in the typography, the gooiness of it. Then we have certain illustrations here. These illustrations are very playful, very approachable, very fun. And these are also some images which I got, but the problem with these images was especially this one, that there is this watermark here. I want to use a real imagery because we can't always use mock-ups and always AI generated ones. I really wanted to use this imagery, but we have this watermark here. Then we also have um this image. This is an amazing image, but I just wish this was upscaled. I just wanted a higher quality version of it. And that's why before opening our Illustrator, I'll actually show you how to upscale these images, how to remove the watermarks, how to make them perfect for your mood board. And just forget the mood board, even like using these images in the presentation, because there it has to be high quality, how to use them and how to make them high quality. I've been using this app called Wondershare Unique Converter. This is how the app looks like on the desktop. Now here, there are so many options. You have the compressor, screen recorder, image enhancer, subtitle editor, all of that. The one that's useful to me is this one, the watermark one. I'll just add the watermark image which I have. So I'll take this. In fact, actually, we can either remove it manually. Let's say if there was just one logo in the center, I could have just put it on the brush and removed it. Or you can also do an auto remove using Nano Banana Pro. You can remove the text, you can remove the watermark, you can even remove people if you want. We'll use the watermark one and then we will click and export it. Now watermark is going to be removed from this image. Let's have a look at it. Okay, wow. So this just happened and look at the result. Every single text of the watermark has been removed. This is absolutely crazy. Let me actually show you the before and after version of it. It was like this before, as you can see here. On the left side was how it was before. It not only removed all the watermarks here, but also the one at the bottom. And this is a perfect image I can actually use. And it also removed this label. So, wow, th- this is amazing. Wow. Okay. Okay, I did not expect that. Just like that, let's now try to enhance our image. The girl the girl who was holding the croissant, yeah, this is the image we'll be using. We'll be doing auto enhancer because I mean we want to do like a basic auto enhance, and let's see how this turns out too. Okay, so this is what it gave us. This is the before, this is the after. Oh my god, look at the difference. The quality is actually insane. Look at the hair. The hair was blurred, now it's much more clear. Even our croissant was like blurred and it is much more clear. It is much more in HD now. Um, Not that it matters so much, but then when we're using this in mood boards and presentation, and this is the image that we want it to be highlighted, it will do the job. It has even enhanced that image before it. Wow. Okay. Okay. Let me just export it. We have it right here. All right, with that, I think all other images are perfect. Do check out Wondershare Unique Converter. I have this app installed on my laptop. Whenever I need to compress an image, remove a watermark, because that's a real challenge with Photoshop. Or if I want to do anything like a background replacer, anything with image, video, audio, anything of that, this will be my go-to from now. And do check it out. Thanks a lot to Wondershare for sponsoring this segment of the video. And I'll leave all the links in the description. Now, let's get on to creating our mood board. Okay, what I've done here is now I've collected all our images and put them in Illustrator. You can already see the one that I used to remove the watermark from Wondershare. Alright, so I have gotten these images. Some of them I got from Pinterest. Pinterest is like the holy grail to finding like really, really good images. Like, look at this. I got this one from Pinterest, and this is so good. Some of them from online resources here and there. Freepik has good ones, Advato has good ones. But yeah, these are the ones that are collected. Now, what I'll be doing is I'll be showing you how I generally create mood boards. I'll be taking you, and while I do that, I'll be also talking about and taking you through what goes behind a mood board. Why do we create a mood board? What is the purpose of it? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making a box, basically a grid of 9 boxes, basically like your Instagram grid. This is how I'll do it. I'll just duplicate it and then duplicate it again. So we have this grid right here. It is a regular 9020 by 180 size artboard. And then I've taken 9 of these cubes. And now I'll start painting the mood board. Always remember, our mood board needs to have 3 things in particular. Imagery. What kind of imagery you envision with this brand? What kind of feeling you want to give this brand? Then we have colors. This one's really important. When a client finalizes a mood board, they don't only finalize the imagery and the visuals on it, they also lock in the colors. And you need to be very precise with it early on before even creating the logo for it. And typography. So these are 3 things that I usually look for whenever I am creating mood boards. Once you have an image and a color and a typographic style locked in place, the actual design process after this becomes much easier. It goes in a specific direction and the client will not give you many changes because they know what they want, you know what they want, and it just becomes clear with the mood board what they're actually looking for. So let's do imagery first. I really liked how this image has come out. I'm going to put this in the center. I love how this image speaks. So I'm going to take it back, select both of them and command cement. So it just clips mask. This is a really strong image because you're not really used to seeing images like this in a bakery brand. You see the full croissant, you see the full coffee mug. You might even see some cakes or pastries. But this is something that you don't usually see. All right, we'll go to the next one. If you might have not noticed yet, yes, there's this blue theme going on. I'm just going to grab all the blue images which I have gotten. Um, I absolutely love it. I really like how it is looking. We will then go with the typography. I loved the typography style in this image, especially how this bread is looking. The combination of a sans serif clean typeface with this slab serif warm typeface with this comfort having like a nice player typography of it. I love this. I absolutely like it. So what I'll be doing is I'll be adding this somewhere right here, maybe in large, and I will keep mask it. Even if we have a bit of it, like something like this, even if you have something like this, it gives the idea as to what kind of typography style we're going with this one. Then for the illustration or the visual style, I really like how this is written cookies for the soul. It's a little off-brand than this one because of this typographic style. But I just want to add that in this because I want to see if the client is okay with having this as the visual style or not. So we will add this somewhere right here. So far, it's looking really nice. We also will be adding this one. I chose this purely because it has a blue background. The person who is eating this has a blue is wearing like a blue clothing, and I really like how this yellow and blue is coming out. The yellow and the blue looks really nice, looks super fresh and warm. And if you look at even the food products in the bakery, like a croissant or a cookie, they have that yellowish orangish tone to it. So I feel like if we have that combination, it'll be really solid. So let's add this one right here. We can leave it like this, but I was liking this blue and yellow combination. So we will leave it right here. All right. Then I like this as the brand mark. It's really strong. Actually, I'll be having this here. Something like this will be perfect. We will complete the image, something like this. And forgot the illustrations. I'm adding too many croissants. I think I should also add something else. It's just being a croissant bakery brand. Yeah, we can add this image. I'm going again on a hunt because I'm not really satisfied or happy with all the images. So let me do that quickly and then come back. All right. So with that, we are done with our first mood board. And the reason I'm saying first mood board is because this is not the only one we'll be making. We'll also be making the second mood board. And there's a very important reason why we do that, because our clients, the more options and the choice we give them, the more likely they are to select one of them and not say yes or no. They're more likely to select one. Okay, this is looking nice and this is not looking nice. So that's why we give them two mood boards. Some people do three, four mood boards. But I feel like two is a sweet spot when sort of giving them not too many options and like two directions. This is the direction we can go ahead with after understanding your brand, who we're targeting to, what you want, or this is the direction we can go ahead with. So this is our direction number one. Your we'll click on of our imagery because we have the imagery your and your how we really want the imagery of the brand to be. Then we'll tick off on the colors because that is really bright and attractive. In fact, you can also do one thing. You can also add in boxes at the colors. Maybe you can add different palette of that. These are the colors you've used. You've also used this Sofi. So you can add this palette right here at the bottom at the corner. You can add color codes just to give the client what color we're using. One of the important colors is also the croissant color and the cookie color, which we cannot miss, which also adds a lot to the brand's palette. So we'll to the color pick from your. Yeah, so this becomes a color palette, maybe slightly darker. Yeah, something like this. Perfect. And then of course we have the typography as well. You can see the typography here. Here I also added like a store facade. You can see the typography here. So this basically gives them everything they want in these 9 grids. Super clear what kind of a style, imagery, illustration, typography, and the vibe that we are going ahead with. Now I'll actually remove all this from here. We use the space to add in all the data we can do. For example, we add in here, like this is moodboard number one. We put that here. Here we put a short description of explaining them the vibe and the understanding that why are certain images here? Why have we taken these decisions? Here is what we add certain description as to why have we taken this image. What is the feeling we're trying to get from this brand? What is the vibe we're trying to achieve? And of course, you can also add color codes. And in case if you want, you can specifically, let's say you have used a certain style. For example, here I've written 2D illustrations. So I'll do that and I'll mark it on this mood board right here. Here, if I've talked about particular color, I'll do that and mark the color right here. Here, if I've talked about using super macro level shot of imagery, then I'll mark it right here. Basically, explaining them what this entire artboard is and constructing everything and explaining everything into this single artboard This is everything they'll look at and then they will tell you your decision. Now, let me quickly work on the second mood board and show that to you. Okay, so I have successfully created a second mood board as well. Let me show you both of them together side by side. On the left, we have our mood board number one, which I already explained what it was about. Colorful, blue a lot, very typographic style, a lot of hand-drawn typefaces, a bit of serifs here and there, a lot of illustrations. And on the right, we have a different illustration style. The illustration style is more hand-drawn on the right, and then in the left, on this illustration, it was a more 2D illustration. The imagery are more photographic, are more professional. If you look at this image, which I have, if you look at this image, which I have, the typography style is a lot bolder, a lot cleaner, a lot more aesthetic, and we have used very minimal colors. Basically, I want the colors to speak from the product itself. I want the product to speak the color of the coffee, the color of the baked goods, the color of the atmosphere, the environment, the tissue paper. I want all of that to speak and not have any brand color. Like this brand has zero brand colors, but the bakery items, the goods here and there will bring out the color in this. And I think it has turned out beautifully. So these are two different directions. Now that brand or that client who I'm creating this for, I will give this to them. I'll present this to them. Every single one of them have a specific design decision, have a specific white that they want to. The left one has this blue color, has its own imagery style, has its own typography style, and the right one has its own. Also, when you're presenting this to your client, don't forget to mention that this is not a fixed mood board. This is a workable mood board. For example, if they like the illustration style of this, but they like the imagery of this one, we can always combine. And that's where mood board really shines. This is not going to be fixed. This is a first round of mood board iterations. After this, you can create a second version, a third version, a fourth version, to the point where you create a final mood board exactly like the ninth grade, where it has a typography style which they like, it has the imagery style they like and they have choose, and it has the colors which they have liked, tweaked, and refined, and the final color which has been locked into the final mood board. And that is how you crack your brand design before you even start with the logo and your presentation and the other parts of it. All right, folks, that was it from me. I hope this video was valuable and you understood how can you really elevate your design process by just mood boarding. Mood boarding is a term we often don't talk about in our design process, but it is so heavily important. And as I told you, you can keep creating iterations till the final mood board that they like. And of course, with mood boards, you'll be playing with a lot of imagery. You can always check out Wondershare Converter to fix your images, to enhance it, to literally remove any watermark from any image, so your mood board or your presentation looks really crisp. And with that, I'll be ending this video. Let me know if you need more videos like this where I'll show you particular part of a brand design process instead of showing you the entire one. I focus on one part and show you how to exactly do that. Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.